How you guys doing? This is very important in reference to a lot of things. That satellite man's still graying on the hair, man. And they're still hitting me in the face and the teeth right here, and they're hitting me in the teeth right here, and they're burning right here. Oh, in reference to many things, somebody is, hello, I don't know if it was Treasury or Congress or whichever. Uh, but they're making announcements to all branches of government that anybody denying my birth records of my mother and father and family identity and role protocol information in the media, those people are going to have to be impeached from government. My parents went through all the appropriate uh, procedures to document things, to document my identity, to document the fact that I'm the owner of my mother and father's estates. These people that have tried to play conflicting games, these people blocking me from my trust funds, the people blocking me from my properties and my mother and father's estates, those people have to be fired from their positions and they have to be thrown off the property. Law enforcement can escort people off the property. Security of certain companies or properties can throw people off the property that are conflicting with my ownership and my identity and my birth records of my mother and father. My mother and father handed birth records to Congress, to the Treasury, to the Supreme Court, and other places. So, in reference to people denying my birth records, my birth identity and birth name, and my family history, those people have to be impeached from government. My parents went through the correct procedures in documenting my identity, documenting who I am, and hello, European Treasury and English Treasury and treasuries around the world, many things of importance, friendly acknowledgments. I have not received any monies from anywhere. The abuses from today, them hitting me in the teeth, that's multi-billion-dollar lawsuit, man. Plus from what they've done today. And, the activities of these people having access to satellites to abuse me is attempted murder. And we need to know which people allowed those people into satellite control rooms. Another thing of importance, this made me burp. Satellite man did. But there's lots of things of importance in reference to information. The historic museums, the historic society has to have a document of my family tree, of my mother and father's family tree, meaning me on my mother and father's family tree. And they should have that document at the Treasury, the museums and historic society, uh, the Catholic Church, the Jewish Church, the Buddhist Church, and other churches are supposed to have that information on record too. And the museums. And a reference to the information of the situation of people playing this analyst game where they're depriving me of my rights, that's just total BS. Every time somebody new, they try to get somebody new to act like they're starting this and starting that, and it's the same recycled game of these people stealing from me, these people abusing me, these people playing their tricks. It's BS. It's attempted murder. I got kidnapped from California. They have the date I was kidnapped. It's California's responsibility to send me money so I can move back to California. Or other cities and states, governors and mayors that try to send me money or letters of information so I can move to another city and state. When I get to another city and state, I'm not going to probably go out very much. Just go to the store and, the gas station or, just until, whenever this COVID-19 thing comes to a halt or when they slow things down or whatever things are, I stay in a lot because of a lot of reasons. In Indiana, I can't even really go out in public very much because people try to murder me. And it's a setup that these people kidnapped me They had all these things intended for their attempts of trying to hurt me and trying to steal from me, and them slandering my character, and them stealing my sperm, and them trying to steal my blood. And some of these people that kidnapped me was people that had diseases, or they had some type of health problem, or they were trying to play this human trafficking game, or they were trying to tie themselves into my mother and father's estates. The Royal Protocol says no matter what's on paper, no matter what anybody says, I'm the owner of my mother and father's estates no matter what. It's never signed, never, never gave, never, never sold, never, not, never, no matter what anybody says. And in reference to Napa Valley, I'll make another video. Somebody wanted me to say hello up there. In reference to my grandfather, or my grandfathers, or my mother and father in ownership of wineries, I'm the owner of everything my mother and father owned. So in reference to my grandfathers, my mother and father, if they owned wineries, then I'm the owner. If they owned anything, if they owned any soft drink companies or beverage companies or food companies, I'm the owner of everything. Forever. Never signed, never, never gave, never, never sold, never, not, never. Not going to either. But, in reference to situations of governors and mayors, you are obligated to have a team of people. I know you got people probably working on the COVID-19 thing and other things, but the Treasury has probably authorized each governor and mayor a certain budget to work on this situation, because the Treasury kind of knows it's an obligation that the Treasury needs to find out which governors and mayors are conspiring against my identity and who I am and my careers and my family history. So, in reference to governors and mayors, if you've received budget monies from the Treasury or from anywhere in reference to working on this situation of me being held hostage, you probably have to hire a separate team of people, because obviously things are not going the way they're supposed to. The situation is obviously a hostage situation. And governors and mayors and people and the media are supposed to know exactly the location of these satellite controllers, exactly which people and their names are holding me hostage, exactly which people have been zapping me, which people have been stealing postal mail, which people have been trying to steal my identity. And I'm not going to play this game of government trying to profile me, calling me a bad person, because my parents owned a lot of land in America. My family history has owned a lot of land in America way before these people even came into the country. So in reference to these people trying to play their tricks, all their accusations, every accusation they make is a court case. Somebody will say, they always try to make up this facade of, they thought that was backdoor dealing and blah, blah, blah. No. My parents followed all the guidelines in reference to buying land. So did my grandparents. Anything you got to say it in a courtroom, put it on paper, put it on the internet so everybody can ask you the questions. Where you came up with your lies, where you came up with your tricks. The Royal Protocol of my identity has been in the media, and that isn't even being handled correctly. I was supposed to receive money. I got kidnapped from California. My parents got murdered. The Treasury even has insurance policies that I was supposed to have received in reference to my mother and father getting murdered. And in reference to the insurance of when I have been injured. Doesn't the Treasury have that? Doesn't the Supreme Court? I'm supposed to receive monies from there. I'm supposed to receive paychecks in reference to my mother and father, in reference to my identity and my status of who I am, in reference to the Treasury, in reference to the IRS, in reference to the Supreme Court. And, some of these offices of government are very important, supposedly, and they're supposed to be following the guidelines and procedures, and yet they haven't even stopped the postal thieves. Like, and this satellite controller always tries to communicate something like, oh, you don't know who they are, do you? Well, obviously, whoever you are, you're not me, and you're stealing my money. You're not me, and you're blocking me from my parents' mansions. None of them are ever for sale. And they're protected by family history and family law. I'm the only owner. So in reference to people trying to play their tricks, people need to know which people are doing this. And obviously, the situation is going on. It's been going on for years. And it's not fair, based on the facts of the due process, that they should have arrested people. They should have prosecuted people. I got kidnapped from California. Where's my lawsuit monies? Each city and state has obligatory understanding, is what they're supposed to know, not to allow people from any state to abuse me. The governors and mayors know that. And if governors or mayors are trying to call me the bad person, that's illegal. My parents employed a lot of people in America. That Royal Protocol is in the media. It's documentation of my ownership, too. Documentation of my identity. Documentation of my parents' identity, too. So when this government man was trying to impersonate my mother or trying to impersonate my father with his impersonators, that man's got to get arrested. And you got to find out what race and religion that man is. And the women that are working for that corrupt man. These people are violating my personal life. They're blocking me from having a girlfriend or a potential wife, or they're blocking me from living my life. They're trying to steal my athletic accomplishments, and they're trying to steal my career. They're trying to steal monies that celebrities have tried to send to me. And don't forget, some of these people would say, well, how come nobody sent us money like that? Or how come nobody said... Well, these people, a lot of people have known me, and a lot of people was possibly holding on to monies from my mother or from my father that they had put aside in reference to people that was supposed to deliver monies to me in this type of situation. And I don't know if some people was pocketing that money or what, but that's not what the money was for. The money was supposed to be delivered to me. And if somebody tried to send money and it got stolen, then obviously the postal system is corrupt or something. But I got kidnapped from California. And check to see if I own any post offices in America. Check to see if I own any police stations in America in reference to my mother and father and grandparents. This is a point of understanding the basis of leverage and facts of rights, because there's a lot of police stations that should have been working on this, but yet I'm still being held hostage. I have not received any benefits from the hostage situation. I just have my unemployment, which is $151. And, they're still sending me utility bills. I haven't received any monies. I got kidnapped from California. People tried to murder me. People tried to steal my identity. People tried to steal sperm. People tried to steal my mother and father's mansions. And there is no bureaucratic way for them to get away with stealing from me. My parents got murdered. If people are stealing from me, that means they were probably in on it. People holding me hostage. People stealing the postal mail. People playing tricks. Obviously, they were in on it. And in reference to competition in business or competition in the entertainment industry, when movies are written for me, they're written for me. When scripts are written for me, they're written for me. And don't forget, in reference to, people trying to play this game of manipulation, people need to go to court. Maybe some of you people need to start your own production companies. But either way, you got to follow those guidelines of the Screen Actors Union, the Directors Union, the Writers Union, and the Editors Union, and media facts of guidelines. So in reference to the situation of people trying to play tricks, it's not fair. It's not fair to the history of law. It's not fair to the history of my family history of what these people are doing. the postal thieves, or that's just on basis of if people have tried to send things. I've not received anything. So in reference to the point of information of the companies, or companies that want to hire me, or movie productions, or TV stations, or radio stations, maybe I should start my own radio station too. Or, maybe the Treasury can start one of those. And obviously, in reference to my mother and father, look up the history of how many billions of dollars my parents possibly had in the computer industry. I own my mother and father's computer companies and technical companies. I own everything of my mother and father and grandparents forever. And this situation is abuse. And in reference to females, I don't know which female wants to hang out with me, but obviously you can't have no COVID-19 or any other ailments of any kind, because these people would try to use these things to try to murder me. That's why I'm not allowed to be around any person that has any ailments, because somebody would try to put that on me, and they would try to murder me, and then they'd try to accuse me of having that type of disease or ailment, and I'm not allowed to be around people that have any types of ailments or diseases or things like that, because people would try to murder me, and they try to fabricate against me and my identity and family history. These thieves are organized criminals, and they use political criminals, and they try to play their processes of things. They make up lies. They try to say, oh, if you were hanging out with this person, then you probably got that disease. If you were hanging out with this person, you probably got this problem. Or if you were hanging out with this person, they'd accuse you of this. If you hang out with that person, they accuse you of that. And then they try to rape me, and they try to sexually assault me, and then they try to steal my penis, or they try to steal my anatomy, genetics, or parts of my body. These people have tried to do all kinds of nasty things. That's why I'm supposed to have bodyguards. That's why I'm supposed to have security. That's why I'm supposed to be at my mother and father's mansions. If that seems to be some problem, such as people blocking me from the keys to the properties, and people blocking me from, finances. That's why the governors and mayors were supposed to send me money. That's why they were supposed to try to deliver money. I don't think any of them's tried to deliver anything to the postal mail. And I'm tax-free, too. And the IRS knows I'm supposed to be on, the IRS payroll, too. And the Treasury payroll, and other things, because my parents owned a lot of businesses and owned a lot of land. So in reference to being on payroll for a lot of things, is for my protection from criminals in government. But I haven't received anything yet. And in reference to companies and businesses that know me, in reference to, my mother and father's companies, I was supposed to be on the payroll of my mother and father's companies and businesses, and other, some companies have tried to possibly put me on their payroll. I have not received any payroll from anywhere. And in reference to celebrity endorsements, like athletic endorsements, that's why it's important that my statistics of my athletic ability and my portfolio of who I am and who my parents are and my career